Hey guys and gals, welcome back to Fixing It Blind. So today we have got this Troy-built 3.5 horse tiller. Okay, and what's going on with this beast? Oh geez, I about fell over and died. Anyway, what is going on with this beast is that it'll run just fine. It runs great once you get it started, but you got to prime the crap out of it. Okay, so we cleaned the carb on it already. It's a little too far gone. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and throw on a new carburetor. So we're gonna start off by taking off the gas tank, okay? Now you guys don't have to do this at home. I'm just doing it so you guys can see a little easier. And it's only 2 bolts, you know. Figure why the heck not. Let's get the gas tank out of here. All right. So these air filters come off nice and easy. You just twist and pull. This is another issue of this machine here. It's a tiller. It gets so dang dirty. I mean, that's really bad. Really bad. All right. So I got to go grab a wrench. Now it's a bolt and a nut. So you just kind of put your finger on the head of the bolt here and you can usually get it to spin off. Very few times do I ever have to try and get a wrench on the other side. That's pretty much next to impossible. I mean, you can do it, but it's a whole lot of monkeying around. Okay, just got to grab the other side here. Now the other side has got the governor and the throttle control, okay? Now it's in the top hole of the governor arm, and it's in the outermost hole closest to the intake. So you want to make sure that you put it right back in the same ones. Otherwise what happens is you can cause high revving issues, or you don't get enough RPMs out of the engine, and it just, you know, makes your experience not very fun. Come on. Not quite loose enough yet. I got a question for y'all. Do you guys have honeybees where you guys are? You know, like wild honeybees? Or are they pretty much gone from your area? Because we actually have a few hives that are wild hives. I don't have any, you know, beekeeping hives. And every year in the springtime, these crabapple trees right along my driveway here get just covered in bees. Like so many you can't even hear yourself talk. They just make this just crazy buzzing noise. It's really a cool sight to see. Maybe next year when it happens, I'll get it on some video here. All right, so there's a couple screws that we got to take out. These two on the front of the carburetor, okay? And those are just Phillips screws. And yeah, the bolts that hold this on, the nuts, they are 11 millimeter, or I don't know if it's 3/8 or what standard size, but they are standard bolts, but 11 mil fits them pretty well. All right, so we got this O-ring. You got to make sure that that stays with this little adapter plate. That's for the air filter. All right, we're gonna set that aside, We're gonna go open up our Chinesium carburetor. All right, so this kit comes with a new air filter. I also bought them a couple extra air filters because it's a tiller. It's a dirty environment. Comes with a spark plug. Don't use this, okay? Don't use this. Most of the time, they're garbage from the beginning, okay? They're just, I've seen them where they have cracked porcelain, and they just cause problems. Just buy a Champion or NGK or, you know, Autolite. I don't care. Just throw that in the garbage, though. Comes with the carburetor. Okay, now this one is slightly different, okay, in the fact that it's adjustable on the bottom. Okay, so I can adjust the high speed, so I can really tune it in. Now, if you live in California, you know, that's not ideal for California. You got a small piece of fuel line. We're gonna put new fuel line on. Got a little fuel filter. We're gonna put this in, okay? Factory does not have one. It's a tiller. It should have a fuel filter. Okay, then we got gaskets and adapter. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and use these. For this application, we do not need this one, okay? But it does have a couple new bolts. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, we're not gonna use those bolts either. All right, so the only thing we need out of this kit, really on this application, is this gasket, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and set that aside. Now we gotta make sure, okay, we've got this side is the intake where the air filter goes. This side bolts to the engine. Okay, so we wanna put this back on, but we gotta make sure that that O-ring sits in there nice again, okay? We don't want any issues. We don't want any vacuum leaks, nothing. Okay, get them both started, and then go ahead and tighten it down. Now these don't have to be super tight. Don't crank on them. Make it nice for the next guy. You just put them snug. They just have to create a seal with that O-ring, so you just got to make sure that O-ring's squished up nice. Okay. Now these ones do not have a choke on these carburetors. It's just strictly a primer bulb. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and install this. Oh, it looks like this one does not have the vent for the crankcase. Okay, so we'll just have to set that there and let that vent free to air. I'll put a fuel filter on the end of that to help make sure that dust doesn't get into it. So we take our thing here. This is the hole that I was talking about, farthest one straight out. Sorry, it's this hole. All right. Let's see. Let's get this old gasket off. Now these gaskets, you can generally reuse them, but if I have new ones, I really like to put new ones on. Then you don't have any issues. I mean, comebacks are the worst. They make you look stupid, you know. No one likes to look dumb, especially when people view you as a professional. So let's go ahead and get that on there. Sorry if I'm blocking you here, but there's really only one way you can get your hand in there to get that tightened up. Now we just get it finger tight. All right. Make sure that the governor moves free. Now this is a tiller. It pretty much just runs wide open the whole time. But it does have throttle control. Come on. They really don't give you hardly any room in here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up. Now you don't need it super tight, okay? You tighten it up so it doesn't leak. You know, if you got to break the torch out to loosen it next time, you went too far. So what I'm doing is I got some needle nose pliers because I can't hold it good enough with my fingers. So I got some needle nose pliers that'll fit in here. And then I can get my wrench on there so I can get it that last little bit of snug because we don't want it to vibrate loose. There we go. Now let's tighten this side here. Let's see. Come on. What if we go like this? There we go. Now we can hold that out of the way easier. Again, we'll get the needle nose pliers back in there to just barely hold that. Won't take much, but your finger just can't grab it tight enough. At least mine can't. Who knows? Some of you could be like the lizard people, you know, and just have super strong fingers. Come on. All right, so what I'm gonna have to do is just kind of go like this, kind of wedge. All right. Flies this year are out of control. I spray and I treat, and it doesn't seem to help a bit. If you guys have got any suggestions on treating for flies on your property and mosquitoes, right now I'm using permethrin because I can use it on my goats' grazing area. And I was using Biffin IT beforehand, before I had goats, but apparently you can't use that with goats because it can hurt them. Okay, so we're gonna take this junk filter, toss it, put the new filter in here. We're gonna go ahead, get that on there. Come on. Don't tell me it's too long. Look at this. I mean, all they have to do is copy it, right? I wonder if she'll squish down enough to get it in there. Yeah, just barely. It's made in China for you. So now we want to take this fuel line. We're going to roughly measure it. Okay. And we're going to cut it, you know, something like really short. Let me grab a better knife, a knife to cut it instead. Because hey, who doesn't want to stab themselves in the finger on a Thursday? When you guys see this, it'll be Friday though. Anyway, use a good sharp razor blade. Razor blades work great for cutting fuel line, even the reinforced kind. All right, put the fuel line on there. Put this other fuel line on the other end. Then put it onto the gas tank. Oh, come on. to fight with it. That's good though. It means she won't leak. All right. So now I'm gonna leave it long, right? Because I gotta reroute it because this carburetor, you know, this one, the fuel line comes straight out the side, this one comes forward. So it's gonna be different. So now there's a little notch on the bottom here, okay? And that is going to kind of lock in somewhere. No, it's not. The only thing that holds this is the bolts on top. Wow. Wow, all right. Usually they lock in. This one does not have the bracket that locks it in. So just put your bolts back in. Now these are really weird coarse threaded screws, okay? They're made specifically for plastic, okay? Whatever you do, do not over tighten those, because if you strip that out, then you gotta go buy a new tank, okay? If you gotta buy a new tank, that's just added costs, you know? And the goal of you know, watching these videos is to learn how to do something that you don't know how to do, you know? And to get it done cheaper, right? We want to save some money. We ain't saving money if we're breaking shit. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a little loop and then go into there. Yeah, I'm going to probably cut her just a little bit short. I'm going to make this a whole lot longer than it was originally. Okay, we're only going to cut off about 1 inch of this tube. Okay, and then do a little loop. Okay, and that way we can have the fuel filter on there, because these lines you either have to buy pre-bent or, you know, do big loops. Okay, but there you go. Let's grab some gas. Let's grab some gas. See if we have to prime the heck out of this thing to fire it up, or she'll just fire right up. Oh, come on. There we go. What do you think of these stupid EPA gas tanks? They just suck. Takes you forever to fill a tank nowadays. And I think I spill more with these tanks than I ever did with the other ones. All right. That's 3/4 full. That should be more than enough. Let's give it a second for the fuel to flow down, and all right, so we're gonna bring her to full throttle. Okay, we have no choke, we have a primer. We're gonna push it 5 times. Okay, and give her a pull, see what happens.